Hi, and welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies on Course 2, Period 4. This is Lesson 1-4, Dividing Decimals. Okay. Now, to divide by a decimal, there aren't any real definitions that we have to go through. We just need to walk through the procedure here. So, if I were going to find the quotient of 1.512 and 0.36, or 1.512 divided by 0.36. First, I want to go ahead and set up my problem within what I call the little division house. Okay. Now, people often say that I should always put the little number outside. That works most of the time, but remember, it's always the divisor or the number that you're dividing by. So this second number here is called our divisor, and it's always on the outside. So I should probably do it like this. D-I-V-I-S-O-R is divisor. And then the first number is the dividend, which goes inside the house. So dividend. A silly little saying that I learned somewhere, I'm not sure where, is that I'm dividing by the divisor. I told it goodbye, so it's already outside my house. So that number is always outside, the dividend is inside. Okay, so first setting it up is major. If you do not set up your problem correctly, it's going to be pretty impossible to get the right answer. Okay, then since we think better in whole numbers than in fractions, we want to take our decimal point in our divisor and move it until I have a whole number. So in this case, I'm going to move it 2 places to the right. That's like multiplying by 100. Okay, so now I have 36 with my decimal point behind the 6. If I move it 2 places out here or multiply by 100, I must move it 2 places in the dividend as well. So it bounces 2 places to the right, and its new home is between the 1 and the 2. Okay, now most of us are just going to do that and work our problem from there. Here we have it rewritten for us, so we'll go down here and work. Here is the location of my new decimal point, and I want to bring it straight up into my quotient. Remember, the quotient is the answer to the division problem. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start our division. 36 does not go into 1. It does not go into 15. I need to figure out about how many times it goes into 151. Well, the authors of our book have started the problem for us and chosen 4. So we're going to do 151 times 4. And you might actually even want to do it off to the side so that if it's not the right answer, you don't have to go back and do a bunch of erasing. 4 times 1 is 4. Write down the 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Write down the 0. Carry. All right. 4 times 1 is 4. Excuse me, I have written down the wrong number. My apologies. I should be multiplying by 36 because I'm going to see that I'm going to get the number 604, and that's not going to work. Okay, so you're going to find that sometimes I make silly mistakes just like that. Hopefully you don't make them too often. What I really want to do is multiply 36 times 4. So my apologies on that. You may erase yours or just mark it out like I did. So 6 times 4 is 24, carry 2. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So my product of 36 and 4 is 144. Okay, I want to fill it in right underneath the divisor, the dividend, so that I can then subtract here. So when I subtract, I'm going to have to borrow. 1 minus 4 I can't do, so I borrow from the 5. That becomes a 4. This was a 1. I'm going to add a 10 to it, so now it makes it 11. Mark it out and make it an 11. 11 minus 4 is 7. Okay, and here's where I have to stop for just a moment. Is 7 smaller than 36? If it is, that means that the 4 over here was a good choice, and I can move on. The next thing to do is bring down the 2. So now I'm looking at the number 72 when I try to divide. 36 times 2, I believe, is 72. I'm going to double check myself here. Again, you should do the same. 6 times 2 is 12, carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 is 7. So it's exactly 72. So when I write down the 72 and subtract, I get a remainder of 0. So my answer to the question is 4.2. Okay? You will see several quick check questions here. I'm going to skip these for the moment. You can come back, you can either pause and do them at this point, or you can come back to them later after we finish our second example. I need you to turn your page, please, and go to example number 2. Annexing zeros to divide. Okay, annex may be a new word for you. Annex, A-N-N-E-X, is the same as add or add on. Okay, when you annex something to a city, you add on new land into a city. If you annex, you have a building annex, it's an addition to a building, so it's an add-on. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Sometimes you have to do that so that you can carry out your division. Okay, in a restaurant, one serving of coleslaw weighs 3.5 ounces. The owner buys coleslaw in cans that weigh 98 ounces each. How many servings are in one can? So we set it up. We're going to take the total amount that we get all together, 98, and we're going to divide by the amount in each serving, which is 3.5. We want this to be a whole number, so I'm going to go ahead and move my decimal point over to the right one place, all right? And once I do that here, I'm also going to do it here. In order for that to happen, remember, in a whole number, the decimal point follows the ones digit. Let me make that just slightly larger. And if I need to add on, multiply by 10 or move my decimal point over, I have to fill in with the 0 to hold the place. Okay, so annex the 0 and the dividend. Multiply the divisor and dividend by 10 to make the divisor a whole number. Again, that's bouncing your 0 one place to the right. So now I'm ready to work. I have 35 into 980. My decimal point is here right now. Usually when it's behind a whole number, we don't even write it in. I'm just going to do it for emphasis here so that we don't lose track of where it was. Okay, now I'm going to start my division. I have 35 into 9. It does not go. 35 into 98. I'm going to say 2 times. And again, I'm going to do my work here on the side. 35 times 2. 2 times 5 is 10, carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. That's 70. Okay? And you can use estimation to help you. If I say 35 was about 40, 40 is going to go into 98 twice. It's not going to go in there 3 times. It might be pretty close, but it's not going to work. Okay, now I want to subtract. So 8 minus 0 is 8. 9 minus 7 is 2. Check it out here. 28 is smaller than 35, so that's good. I need to go back and put my 2 in there. Don't forget to do that. I almost did. Okay. Once we establish that our remainder that we get is less than our divisor, then we can bring down that 0. Okay. So now I'm trying to divide into 280. Okay. The authors here gave us a little help and told us that it was 8. So I'm going to do 35 times 8 here off on the side so I know what number to fill into these boxes. Okay, 5 times 8 is 40. 3 times 8 is 24 plus 4 is 28. So that gives me the number 280. Okay, so what that gives me is a quotient of 28. Remember, the quotient is the answer to the division problem. So there are 28 servings in a 98-ounce can of coleslaw, which fills in those last 2 blanks there for you. Okay, there is a quick check to go with this example as well. So at this point, be sure that you have completed all the quick check questions before you come to class, and come in with any questions you might have, and I will see you then. Take care.